The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
Good afternoon, traders. It's actually a beautiful Monday, April 2nd. I don't know why I keep missing on that, but it is National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. And we've got a little something special for you here if we get it up and running.
It's peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?
Yes, it is National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. And what's a little bit better than peanut butter and jelly and a nice Campbell's tomato soup? Maybe it's just me, but that was always the rainy day lunch at home. And still, it's kind of hard to beat it. The only thing that ever creeped me out about it is when people cut the crust off of a peanut butter and jelly. I think it's a sandwich that deserves a crust. Well, it's hard to say. Anyway, we got the market is rocking. Dow's up 81 points. We're up 29 on the S&P. A lot of that looks like Apple catching a few people on the wrong side of being short. And we also have the S&P up 13. I was looking for a kind of a beginning target at at 14.25. Probably going to touch that, I would imagine, tomorrow. I've got some longs in the newsletter. We'll have to see this how this wraps up. I suspect we're seeing a lot of rollover in the big cap names starting to head back down as we have small caps bring a lot of energy to the table. So we could have the actual indexes probably pull back a little bit, maybe setting up one last run. And I suspect that last run will come in somewhere around the end of the month and coordinate itself with the Facebook IPO, which I'm looking at somewhere around the 26th of April. Some people are thinking that it'll go into the first week of May, but my guess is that it will coordinate with the ramp up for window dressing in April, and we'll have to take a look at that. Apple is up 1650. A lot of the bad news that people thought might hit over the last few days kind of being discounted. I think some people were jumping on short. Nice little pop here this morning wrestled them off. I think that there are so many better stocks out there to short than Apple. It's hard for me to get too enthusiastic about it. A lot of companies out there that maybe not shorting, but certainly look a lot worse. We're going to get into that today. Gold's up $9.20. Really looks like it's maybe back in a trading range from about 1640 to 1800. We'll have to see when it breaks through probably 1720 again to see whether or not it's going to take one more run up there. Silver back up almost 60 cents. So we've got kind of a nice sweet day out here. Down in Clearwater, it's sunny and 80 and something. Got in the car today. It reminded me of a midsummer day in northern America. Kind of a June, maybe getting to kind of the warmth that almost you get maybe 2 weeks into June. But just a normal, glorious and wonderful Chamber of Commerce day in Clearwater once again. Y'all, if it's not beautiful where you're at, always welcome to come down to the headquarters of Technical Investing and TFNN land down here, where every day is another wonderful day. China numbers came in a little bit better, and this is what's on my radar. Half of Ireland doesn't pay their property taxes on time. They decided to pay the banks with personal property taxes, and not too happy about that. Just a little bit of, let me put it this way. They had a big fine if they didn't get in by Saturday, and half of them haven't paid it. And, of course, there's still a lot of effort to throw out the current politicians. It's going to be interesting. we were talking about it last week, but just in case anybody missed it, we are number one. We have the highest corporate tax rates in the world. Actual Japan brought it down 2%. I don't know if that's going to make a big difference in Japan, but we are number one, at least at something. Bill Gross's huge bet paid off after a year of being incredibly wrong. He's been incredibly right for about the last 4 months, and looks like he's going to be doing fairly well on his next bonus check. The ISM came in 1 point to the good this morning, kind of turned this market around a little bit. And lastly, Burger King is changing their menu. And the only thing I found interesting in this is that we don't have any of that creepy king guy looking in our windows. Those ads were so off-putting. And I kind of wonder if the guy that created those ads is probably with the guy with the Oldsmobile who said this isn't your grandfather's Oldsmobile. But both of those guys probably better whoever created those ad campaigns, probably not on Mad Men anytime soon. But I guess they're going to have pretty much the same thing as McDonald's. Kind of always like Burger King early on in the 80s and 90s because they didn't like, they had those nice toasty burgers. French fries were never as good, but I always liked it that my burger was probably not sitting around for hours. Of course, I think McDonald's has changed that now. So kind of 6 of one or half a dozen of the other. Movers out there today. We've got Avon products kind of taking a little snipe at Avon today because they really don't have, I think they're still looking for a CEO, but kind of a little buyout offer, but not much above the premium. They're up 17.5% today. We've got Wills Brothers Group and Cybex both up nicely. WG, which is Wills Brothers Group, is up 23.5%. We've got Cybex up about almost 15%. Both of those in the energy sector, so you might check those out for some big movers out there. For volume in the marketplace, check that real quick, see what we have. 2.7 billion shares, fairly light. I keep on thinking we're going to have a huge day, and that huge day is going to have maybe 5.5 billion shares, and that's going to mark the next huge trend change in the markets. But we continue to go up here on a lighter volume. I suspect we hit 1425 tomorrow, and maybe get a good signal out of that. But maybe on the downside, we'll actually have that 5.5 billion shares. When I quote numbers on my show, sometimes other guests or hosts on TFNN will quote just the floor-traded New York Stock Exchange volume. I quote what is known as the consolidated tape. That's all the stocks that trade on the New York Stock Exchange, but even if they're traded off the floor and on ECNs, like the famous BATs of last week, it's counted. So whether or not it's traded at a more expensive price on the floor or whether or not it's traded on the NYSE, not a big deal. It is a big enough sample or percentage of the sample that it really doesn't matter. Just make sure that you're comparing oranges to oranges and not oranges to apple, and you know whether you're trading the floor traded volume or you're trading the consolidated tape of the New York Stock Exchange. As always, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648, and we can discuss your particular stock. I suspect we're probably getting into a lot of resistance on the big cap names, but we've seen a lot of small cap names over the last couple of weeks have tests on very light volume. We got one in the newsletter on Thursday, had a nice little pop on it. It's there's going to be some of these, including some of the gold stocks we've recounted that are making fairly light volume tests of the lows and having some nice little bounces out of here. Still kind of hated, which is a good time to be in those mining stocks. You don't want to be in them when everybody loves them. Normally a euphoric period of time. But we've got a couple little gold stocks in the newsletter right now. It's not doing too bad. Always like to see, let me check on them here. I like to see them move, but a lot of times it takes a little bit to get them moving. But not a bad day. Anyway, what else do we have on our schedule here today? The Jobs Act came out. Talked a little bit about it with Tom on Friday night. A lot more to it than I knew. I was kind of looking at it strictly through the lens of how these small companies were going to get financed so that they could become public and not remain private for longer. But basically, that's what's going on. The Jobs Act eases a variety of accounting and disclosure rules for emerging growth companies. A few things I didn't know about them. They have to have less than $1 billion in annual revenue and $700 million in market cap. So that gives you a good idea. They have to be public, or they have to be actually private or new for less than 5 years. And, of course, they have to have less than 2,000 investors, but that's up for 500. A lot of reasons Facebook is going public is just because they're pretty much forced to. If they have to do all the regulations, they might as well actually become a public company if they have to go through all the same things as a public company has. Wouldn't change Facebook on this, but I think there are a lot more companies that are going to get a little bit more time to get out there in the market. Some people say that this Jobs Act may have helped somebody like Groupon. We did see after the bell on Friday night, Groupon having a little bit of an issue, and I guess it's off a couple bucks today, on accounting issues. One thing I don't understand is how they could mistake general accepted principles for accounting and call it an accident or a mistake. It is very plain now in the GAAP that you cannot book as profits anything that may be returned as something like that they take refunds on. Apparently, the big problem is their big ticket items like LASIK and cosmetic surgery, other things like that, and they're getting a fairly decent amount of returns on those issues. And they were counting them all as profits immediately, just like gift cards used to be. But the gift card stuff, apparently from what I read in some of the accounting magazines today about Groupon, it's very clear that they shouldn't book any of their profits until they are actually used, exactly the same way that gift cards shouldn't be actually counted as profits until they're used. So I think it's, according to the at least people in the accounting field, it doesn't pass the smell test. Anyway, the other thing on Groupon is that their lockup is coming up, and that is on May 2nd. So we have about 30 days left on that. Probably not a great short at this level, but certainly one to avoid, I would think. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute.
Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com. TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective and maximize your returns. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of The Money Masters with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN.com, author of Mastering Probabilities, a daily investment and trading newsletter, and teacher of the money game. Studies show that 3 out of 5 people are afraid for their life in trading these markets, and the number one reason given is fear of loss. Look, fear stands for false evidence appearing real, and the money game proves it. Lesson number 1, don't risk more than 1% of your trading capital on any trade. Why, you ask? Because 35 trades in a row where you risk 50 cents and make $1 are all you need to double your trading capital, versus the 230 losing trades in a row you would need to bring your balance to $100. Let me teach you more about the money game risk-free for 30 days. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, for your 30-day risk-free trial. You were born to be a money master, and I'll teach you how.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, I just wanted to remind you that in Tampa, April 13th and 14th, and in Boston, April 27th and 28th, you can come and go to Steve Rhodes' Master Trader course. I heard a lot of good feedback from the other one that he's done. They're small. They're very cozy. You're going to get a lot of FaceTime with Steve. A very positive gentleman. I just wanted to bring up some of the other things in the news before we get into stocks. Let's see. You know, we've got probably one of the interesting things, that we've seen since the 60s is a flying car. And we actually have one that, I probably wouldn't want to use it as a car too much. Kind of interesting. Kind of almost close to a gyrocopter. Let me get back to that. But pretty interesting. Actually took its first flight. It's made in kind of like Denmark or Sweden or something like that, but actually took its first flight over the weekend. But very interesting, both car with a push-up propeller and actual powered wheels on tricycle landing gear. And, maybe if you lived on the end of a runway, which we actually have, I think it's, outside of Orlando, there's several places where people fly in. Even Travolta owns one that he flies his 707 in. And can taxi right to the end of the runway and turn into his house. But they have communities down here that actually are aviation communities. But pretty interesting, but kind of a cross between a helicopter and a car, and apparently finally getting maybe a lot of that engineering correct. We have somebody in the den that actually says they saw it on TV. Maybe he'll comment about what he saw. I actually just read some articles about it and saw a little bit of video of it taking off. It'd be interesting to find out what they have. That's always been the future, the promise, the George Jetson kind of thing, wasn't it? Was that you were going to have the flying car. Also in the news over the weekend, and not a April Fool's joke, the Navy orders a laser cannon. They proved last year that they could actually burn a outboard engine off a boat bobbing around off the coast of California. That was a 15-kilowatt laser. They've ordered a 100-kilowatt laser. It'll be on a ship within about 4 years. The idea is that with a lot more small countries having the ability to buy small rockets and anti-ship missiles, especially in the Gulf of Oman and the Mediterranean, they've pretty much used a thing called a phalanx gun, which basically a Gatling gun that shot as quickly as it could at pretty much the standard as the Exocet missile from France. Apparently, it's made its way all over the world, kind of buying them on the black market. The idea would be, especially on nuclear-powered carriers, to start replacing a lot of these things that had bullets, which eventually were going to fall somewhere, hopefully not in somebody's town or anything else, that they think that they can go to these smaller 100-kilowatt lasers, actually huge, but go to these smaller less than 1 megawatt lasers and start shooting down some of these smaller missiles. Certainly within 5 miles of a carrier, probably be fairly effective, and you pretty much instantly know whether you hit it. These things will be able to pulse about 100 times. So getting real into that kind of Buck Rogers thing. But we are going from a military that was based a lot on gunpowder and shooting a projectile to real Buck Rogers stuff. But it looks like this is going to be the first one. They're going to start putting these things on nuclear-powered devices so that they can fire them off as much as they want and have a almost inexhaustible supply of electricity to fire these things. But very interesting. We talked about railguns last month. Same kind of thing, except they're actually going to use a projectile, just not gunpowder to fire it. Things are going to be flying at 5,000-6,000 miles an hour, and they can actually shoot a projectile up to 200 miles. So it's going to be very interesting as our military gets into the 21st century. As we kind of tie this up, Zynga, we talked about OMG Pop. They make a thing called it's basically Pictionary for laptops and smartphones. Zynga's traffic's up now that they bought them, up 25%. They're back to being the biggest user of Facebook out there. But at what price, Zynga? At what price? Give me a call.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. You've heard Tom O'Brien on the air, and you've always thought about trying out his newsletter, Market Insights. Well, now is the perfect time. For a limited time only, when you sign up for a 2-week free trial to Market Insights, we'll send you a free copy of Tom O'Brien's best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System. If you decide to cancel within the 2-week trial period, pay absolutely nothing and keep Tom's book as a free gift from us. Tom sends out his daily newsletter each morning by 9:30 a.m. with trade recommendations, including price targets and price stops. As recently as March 21st, Market Insights subscribers closed out a position for more than a 25% profit in just over 2 weeks. To get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights, along with your free copy of The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Supplies are limited for this one-of-a-kind special, so act today and don't let this opportunity pass you by. Offer only valid for new subscribers.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes that a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Certified Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pezzavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by Direction Shares. To learn more about technical tools for the sophisticated active investor, hit the Direction Shares banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. A perfect time to call. Can't imagine me being in a better mood. Maybe it'll make you in a better mood too. But give me a call about maybe what you think about this market. In the news, as we wrap this up and start getting into some stocks, Digital Core Designs, a fairly world-famous design laboratory in Poland, has developed the first processor made with graphene. We've chronicled it on this show and in the Tech Insider part. Graphene is a single sheet, 1 atom thick of carbon. And it looks like these people have actually come up with a working design. They're taking orders for it. It is not cheap. What it is extremely fast and extremely power efficient. This is probably going to be the first product in electronics that truly shows graphene's processing power. They are working with a lot of people like Xilinx and Altera to create graphene-designed gate arrays and programmable gate arrays. And their actual website talks about it. Not anything that you could do to make any money at Digital Core Designs, but look forward to Altera and Xilinx getting a lot of new business in this graphene processor. The reason why is, one, it is extremely fast. We've seen IBM come out with talks of at least 100 time faster transistor design, and from the 4 gigahertz to over 100 and 200 gigahertz. The big thing in this design that these guys have come up with is a super efficient power design. They actually took their processor, their core design, put it in an existing tablet, and ran the tablet on a battery for about 3 months with normal use and very light use of the display. But it ran fairly extensively in their design tests. And where you don't have a lot of things that need extensive design powering, like powering a display in a smartphone or something, this may be probably the first step to a very power light sipping technology that we've talked about for over a year on this show. But hats off to them. They're probably not going to make any money internally. I think this is more of a proof of design and proof of concept. They are actually going to sell the processor for about $1,000 a piece. And you might actually be finding people like China and the NSA, people that really need to work on signal analysis. This is the kind of stuff right up their alley. Power supply, probably not as big a deal to those folks as running at super high speeds and making little gate arrays that are extremely fast. On the IPO calendar, we had just an absolute mess of them last week. Only one coming this week, Retail Properties of America. That should be on, what is that, Thursday, I think? Let's see if I can get it here. Yes, Thursday. Of course, the market is closed on Friday, and so will TFNN, so we get a 3-day weekend. The week after that, we've got another big run like we had this week, at least 4 coming to market, if not more. Forum Energy Technologies, MRC, Global Incorporated, Bright Source Energy, Alaris Corporation, all setting up probably, I'm pretty sure, let's take a look at here. 12, that's going to be after we start options expiration and go delta neutral on the 11th. Probably not a surprise that they wait and target these things during non-volatile options periods, but look again for another week of a lot of pushing pressure, probably after the 11th. We might have a little bit of pullback, more and more run, and I suspect we're looking at that 26th date for the Facebook IPO. Why is that, in my opinion, so important? $500 million in IPO goodness since both, I think, 2 or 3, pretty sure it's Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, have huge amounts of shares that they've gotten even before the IPO. I think Goldman Sachs actually bought a couple $100 million last year of Facebook stock as a private company. Those shares are significantly discounted to the IPO price that the current red herring is showing would value Facebook at somewhere around $100 billion. So I think that we could still see some decent moves in this market. If not, we just hang around this 1,400 level until they get Facebook kicked out the door. But from a street perspective, they can't control everything. Never know when somebody in the Mideast is going to throw a bomb somewhere. But my guess is they're going to try to keep this up until the Facebook IPO actually comes out. That pretty much ends our news segment. We're going to get to some stocks. Again, give me a call at 877-927-6648, and we will discuss what you're talking about. There's a few stocks out there, even petroleum, made me think that we were probably getting at least somewhere close to at least a small-term bottom on crude when it bounced today. Actually, let me get a current crude quote. Let's see, what is that at? GLC, CLM. Up to $2.24, 105.26 on the current contract. Not unsuspecting that we hit a bottom. I saw a lot of these petroleum companies putting in bottoms. pretty much every day in the newsletter. Where applicable, I put in a lot of charts. This was one of them today, kind of looking like it was finding some kind of bottom. Callon Petroleum, symbol is CPE. Nice little pop down here. March 6th low, 580,000 shares at $6.24. Tried to get through with a little doji on Thursday last week. Friday, kind of a nothing day, but certainly light volume, 158,000 shares. Not going to have that much volume more today, but certainly looks like we could move back up and maybe around 680 on Callon Petroleum, but certainly making a lighter volume, making a doji, kind of a nice signal that it's probably done going down just for a little while and coming back. Another one out here that I find interesting, I'm going to be taking a look at, is Quest Diagnostics. Looks like it may be making a little top out here. Kind of give you an idea that we are seeing some sector rotation depending on what sector your stock is in. DGX is the symbol. Seeing this thing go above a previous high, that January 25th high, $61.47, 2.6 million shares on the highest volume day, within 0.5% of the high there. We are starting to crawl through that here today, but probably 1.1 million shares. Certainly going to be a 50% test of a high. Give that 2 days. If we don't see additional volume, look for this thing to pull right back in below that high. Probably $60.50 was that huge volume day that you did see almost 5 million shares on. That was on what, the 24th of January. He had a big volume day, no continuation. Again, was talking a little bit about exhaustion days, and that's a lot of times if you don't get it within the next couple of days, market just goes sideways on this thing. But we are pushing those highs again, and nowhere close to either the 5 million shares of the 24th of January or the even the 2.7 million shares that we saw on the following day after that. So each way kind of giving a fairly decent indication that we don't have all of what we're thinking about in that. Let's go to the next one here. Another one that was kind of interesting, Digital River, a company that mostly deals in online, like processing credit cards, that kind of stuff, financial transactions behind the web. Kind of giving a nice little signal here on a shorter term level. Let's see if we can show some gaps here. It's got a huge gap, not very much farther. Again, we might see a little bit more pop into the market tomorrow. But huge gap as we come back up about, what is that, about $20.70 or $19.70. But even today, we're seeing a nice test as we get into these with very, very light volume. The previous high out here, February 17th, 1.9 million shares at $18.59. We got above it. Looks like we may be closing below it here, maybe in the next day or two. But certainly no volume to get much higher on Digital River. And there's a couple of nice gaps below and a lot of resistance above this nice move from $13.53 back there on the low. Gold giving kind of a nice little short-term test. I've been kind of a little bullish on gold for the last 10 days or so as it was setting up a lot of lows actually in the actual miners. And what we've seen out here is maybe a kind of a short-term move in gold coming to an end. GOLD actually, Rheingold Resources, had a nice big volume day on March 23rd. Came in with 3 million shares. Kind of had a little bounce, went sideways. We are sideways, both touching a gap. But probably going to come in with about 50% of that volume. Looks like we might close. You want it close just above $58.60 to get a nice little signal out here. We'll have to watch this thing. We still got 15 minutes to go. anything can happen. But kind of even some of these that have pulled back on huge moves might be finding a little bit of support now on these longer term moves. And if we look at it, that gap actually came came on fairly decent volume, 1 million shares, and the time before about 600,000 shares. That gap goes back to 7/13 of last year. If you want to go back and see those gaps that come back and are now acting as a little bit of support, but I suspect the bigger issue is just that huge exhaustion day that we saw on the 23rd of this month with 3 million shares, and we've kind of come back into it, acting as a little bit of support here now. Don't kind of like that the volume actually is picking up more than it did on Friday, but certainly a whole lot less than it did on the 23rd out there. Another one that has caught my eye is GenCorp. I'm pretty sure these guys make generators and had kind of a nice run out here. GenCorp is GY. They made their last major high that I'm looking at on April 8th of last year, $7.09. So coming on a year here. 2 million shares on that last big high. Let's go back and look just a little longer. Pretty much, that's pretty much it. We've been getting into that 1 million or 2 million share high the last few days. I'll zoom in here a little bit. 300,000 shares on Thursday, 377,000 shares on Friday, 400,000 shares today. We have gone above it. Looks like the close, you need a close below $7 to confirm a signal on that. But nice, not a bad little move. Did hit a low of $3.74 on September 26th. And, you're getting awful close to 100% move off those lows of your investment, not the just a move or anything. So not bad. This thing may come up here, but this is one of those smaller caps that was kind of interesting that we've seen move out. One of the ones that also kind of interested me is this Imperial Sugar. We might want to be talking with some of our commodities experts. I know we've got a few here at TFNN. I haven't had a chance to listen to them lately. I probably will tomorrow about what they think about sugar, because we certainly see Imperial Sugar, IPSU, giving me kind of a very interesting signal out here. You have the traditional Wyckoff pattern, which is you take off on huge volume, you have a huge move, and then you come back to that support area. Might have just a little bit more work to do on the downside on Imperial Sugar, but very interesting. We've got, let's see, just a huge volume move days, and normally these burn out fairly quick, and exhaustion also. But you had 8 million shares up on the February 9th. You had 9 million shares on the 10th of February. That pretty much set the high. We've been pulling back. Volume hasn't been all that huge over the last few days. We had one big kind of counter move there, but this little movement over the last few days is setting up a very nice pattern. If you can get back into that $4 range, keep an eye on that, and probably want to be looking at those commodities on sugars too if you play commodities. We'll be back, and we'll be wrapping up the show in just a little bit. Still time for you to give me a cream.
In the world of financial markets, there's a new player in town with an exciting new way to trade the markets. Nadex now offers binary options as well as bull spreads in a wide range of indices, along with commodity and forex markets. With as little as $100, you can gain access to a new way to trade global financial markets while guaranteeing that your risk will always be capped. Nadex allows you to multiply your trading opportunities in ways never imagined before and access markets you once thought were out of reach. With short-term trading opportunities available, including binary options expiring each hour the market is open, Nadex allows you to take advantage of a variety of market conditions regardless of volatility or market direction. Now is the time to take advantage of this exciting new market. Don't let this trading opportunity pass you by. Open your account today by clicking on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Nadex, a better way to trade.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakouts gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
Hi folks, turns out my best student became my best teacher. Steve Rhodes absolutely raised my standards, and I'll guarantee he'll raise yours.
Thanks, Tom. What I've learned is that if you want more, you must become more, and that transformation, folks, that occurs the moment you decide to become a master. Now, the quickest way to mastery is through immersion, and for 2 solid days in Denver, Boston, and Tampa, I'll create a new standard of wealth for those few trader investors who have a burning desire to succeed. At my Master Trader course, I'll teach you how to create the ultimate money machine. These are the best kept secrets in the business. Roadblocks, folks. Dabblers give up when they first appear. Stressors last just a little bit longer, but masters expect roadblocks and achieve extraordinary results when they bust right through them. I have all the benefit of knowing the type of wealth creation that I can generate for you. You don't. That's why I'm making this unconditional money-back guarantee. If for any reason you're not satisfied with my Master Trader course, I'll refund every penny. That's right. I take all the risk, and you get all the benefit. Go to the homepage at TFNN.com and sign up today.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the opening call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his opening call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and I very, very strongly support the use of his opening call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the opening call, a $64 value, visit TFNN.com today.
Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com. Catch Tom O'Brien, founder and CEO of TFNN, professional trader and educator. Also a special guest on CNBC, analyzing the commodity markets. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we come back, not a lot going on out there. NVIDIA also kind of, it's hard to say, getting some rumors spread about it as a buyout candidate. It's kind of hard to find a company that would be a really good match for it. So I suspect that NVIDIA is probably just that, just rumors. Anyway, fairly quiet day out here on the markets. I think everybody's more than ready for a day off on Friday. As we spoke earlier, did want to remind you that there are 2 Master Trader days left for Steve Rhodes, April 13th and 14th here in Tampa, and also in Boston, the 27th and 28th. So 2 more chances to catch Steve on his road show. I was talking to him just before the show started here. We were kind of comparing notes on the market. It'd be kind of interesting. One thing that we have seen is the market kind of being a little bit quiet here at the end of the day and actually rolling over. Let me pop up one here real quick to take a look at. But pretty much seeing a little pullback here just at the end of the day. Volume has picked up just a tad. 3.2 billion shares on the consolidated tape. So we are seeing something kind of light. Probably another, we'll have to see how the volume comes in, but another higher high on lighter volume. Still have 1 day, probably a day and a half left of fund buying for the end of the month, and then we'll be going on there. We do have a call. We've got a few minutes left. We're going to go to Ray in Washington. How you doing today, Ray?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about you, David? I sure enjoy your show.
Well, thank you very much. What do you? We're looking at Priceline. What are you thinking about doing here?
Well, it looks like it's kind of bottomed out a little bit. Seems to be a pretty good stock. It's they're expecting it to go to 700. It looks like it's maybe its basis around. Let's see here.
Well, my take on it is it's got a nice little gap that is just, I don't want to call it little. It's, 650 back down to 600. There was some huge volume when it actually popped up, and that was on the...
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, that's about 227. You own it already?
No.
Okay. I mean, the only place that I'd be safe, think about buying this again, would probably be back if it could get back into that gap area. You've got 2.75 million, volume in that gap up. That's going to act as some support. Probably would want it to get back into that level on any pullback in the broad market. Then look at it as that. Certainly looks rather dangerous out here with the light volume over the last few days going sideways. But I'm pretty much thinking that, if we can stay up higher in the market, that we're going to see a lot of these stocks that ran pull back down. We're probably going to see a lot more, in the next run, a lot more small caps that have kind of missed these big runs, on these big leadership stocks like Priceline. What do you think about waiting for it back in the low $600 level?
Well, that's where that gap is, around 620, something like that. What I was looking at, I was just wondering if it was basing, down at this level here at, 720.
I'm not going to say it's going sideways, but to me, there's absolutely no way I could buy this thing until it got back down to 620. Your risk reward just does not line up at all until you get a major pullback on this thing. And, you probably got something like an 80% chance that I think that you could buy it at 620 again.
At 620.
Yeah.
Okay. You're taking a major market pullback in order to jump on that.
I would have to. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.